Now, the other big story today, of course, is in East London, where security has been beefed up around the Magistrates Court. This is ahead of the appearance of EFF leader Julius Malema. He'll be appearing for the pre-sentencing proceedings following his conviction of discharging a firearm during the party's 5th anniversary celebrations held in Mdantsane back in 2018. Staying on that story, we've got our SABC News team there. Sakina also a part of that team. So, Sakina, again, you've been getting a lot of reaction, even talking to EFF leaders and those coming out from Namibia. I mean, it seems to be so many people gathering there to support Julius Malema.
Leanne, good morning once again, and pardon me if I'm not picking up correctly. It's because the noise levels are increasing. We've got engines running, we've got people singing, we've got the music being tested at the stage there where the rally will be held from. So all of that happening at this moment. But also happening is, of course, some of the leaders of the EFF coming through, and others, court orderlies, they coming through as well. As I said, Malema's co-accused, who had been acquitted now, Mdantsane, he's already been here, he's left. He's certainly sure to come back again later on. We also saw in the van behind us here, you will have the members of the Jewish community, black Jews of South Africa, who support Malema. And I tried to get a name, but unsuccessfully, but I'll go back as soon as they are done with their meeting there, just to find out exactly how they refer to themselves. But they are also here in numbers to support Julius Malema, the leader of the EFF. But I just want to get back to the legal aspects of things, given what the EFF Deputy President Godrich Gadi had said, Leanne. And I'm joined once again by Advocate Maswazi. Advocate, with regard to what Godrich Gadi had to say, looking at the state's case, given that Mdantsane, who was initially co-accused, has been acquitted. So how does that impact the state's case?
Well, Sakina, it's quite likely to be a factor that the defense is going to latch on, because as you know, that on the version of the state and in the version of the accused, it does seem that Mr. Snyman is the one who was in possession of this firearm. And if he was not in possession now, as we know, based on the conclusion of the court, then it begs the question, where did this firearm come from? And that is quite an issue that the defense is likely to latch on. It might actually be the one that decides the case on appeal in favor of Mr. Malema.
And even in terms of the conviction itself then, because if Mr. Snyman has been acquitted, and if you look at the charges on which Mr. Malema has been convicted, which is, of course, firstly, the unlawful possession of a firearm, the unlawful possession of ammunition, and then the discharge of that firearm in a built-up area, and reckless endangerment. If we look at those charges on which he's been convicted, in the absence of the actual weapon and Mr. Snyman, how do those charges stack up?
Quite a bit questionable, Sakina, because as I say, the epicenter of the charge is Mr. Snyman, because he is the one that ultimately handed the firearm according to the evidence presented in court. But if now that evidence or that version collapses, then it's quite likely that the version now that remains becomes quite questionable and might, as I say, result in another court finding differently.
So that's going to be interesting. But also that, of course, will be ventilated not too long from now in terms of the sentencing and what ultimately transpires there. But just looking around and all of the thousands of people gathered here, the media is gathered here, you have people who've traveled internationally to be here. That must be a lot of pressure on Magistrate Twanette Willefeer this morning.
Definitely, it's quite a lot of media attention placed on the case, and definitely because judges and magistrates are human beings, and they watch the same media that we watch, they read the same newspapers that we read, and obviously they get affected. And I would imagine that the trick is their training prepares them to develop some kind of a thick skin, to be less attentive to the noise around the case, rather be guided by the facts of the case.
Well, thank you so much. And this is Advocate Bayete Maswazi, who's been helping us wade through the legalese this morning, Leanne. But of course, also, it is now a literal countdown to the start of proceedings here at the East London Magistrates Court, where the regional court is sitting, of course, for this morning's pre-sentencing hearing of Julius Malema. And as the leaders come through, we've seen quite a few already. We will try to keep our eyes trained so that we can bring you these proceedings as they unfold. And not forgetting, outside of this venue as well, we have our reporters also keeping an eye on the scores, the multitude of EFF supporters who will be making their way through the streets of East London here to the court precinct. Back to you, Leanne.
Thanks, Sakina. We'll check in again with you in a short while.